Hello! It's been a minute, or rather a month. As you may have known from my previous video, or if you follow me over on Instagram or Twitch, then you'll know that I recently moved to a new apartment, and since then I haven't gotten a chance to catch a break. But here we are finally, a half a month late with the bullet journal set up for the month of August. As I'm already pretty late for this month, I decided that I wanted a very easy bullet journal theme that I could quickly do for this month. I wouldn't say that it was necessarily a quick setup because of the amount of coloring, but this is by far my most simple bullet journal setup so far for this year. I chose to base my theme off a simple shape and chose triangles. Then to complete this theme, I went with a pink, gray, and gold color scheme to top it off. I started this theme by making triangle templates using some cardstock, and then it made it super simple to trace the outlines for all of the triangles in pencil and to keep them relatively the same shape. The layering of the triangles was inspired by a Scandinavian triangle pattern. If you're curious to find out more, you can just search it up to find many examples of it. Then when coloring in the triangles, I didn't have a method for how I chose which triangles to color which color. I knew that I wanted to get a layered effect on the triangles, so I started by ordering the markers from lightest to darkest, and then I would color the triangles starting with the lightest marker and moving to the darkest. This helped me to slowly add to the page while seeing what I was doing. If you're planning on doing this sort of layering with markers, then I highly suggest that you make sure that your paper can handle that amount of layering. I was actually very surprised and impressed that the paper held up so well with the amount of layering I did. I had at least 4 to 5 layers of Tombow markers, and I didn't see any ghosting or bleeding on the other side of the pages. If you're interested in checking out this journal, it is a journal by Maisie Lane, and you can also get a discount of 15% off your purchase by using my code RebeccaWho15. I do earn a small commission at no added cost to you when you use my code, and you can find the link and all of that information in the description down below. So I'm just going to finish up by tracing the outlines of the triangles with the ruler and then coloring them in. This color scheme is very soft, which I like, but something that I love about how simple this theme is that you are able to do this theme with any color palette that you would like. The last few triangles I drew with a gold pen to add gold as an accent color. I think if I was a little more patient, then I would have spent more time waiting between the colors for each of the layers to dry. I didn't necessarily see any bleeding through the page, but I did see a bit of the ink spread, specifically when using the micron to write August across the center of the page in a very simple lowercase font. It wasn't enough to notice, so it didn't bother me much. If I remember correctly, I think I used this font in my August theme last year, but I think that this simple lowercase font pairs really well with the geometric triangle pattern behind it. Moving on to the quote page, this has got to be probably one of, if not my favorite design that I've done for a quote page so far this year. I like how simple it is, but to me, it is just really satisfying to look at. To start off this page, I went with a more simple triangle design and drew it identically in both the upper left-hand corner and bottom right-hand corner of the quote page. The simple layering of the triangles looks less cluttered than the cover page, so I think it contrasted nicely and fit in perfectly with this journal theme. This quote reads, "Arriving at one goal is the starting point to another." I like this mentality to continue achieving your goals and dreams and then shooting for the next one. It also felt really appropriate with my recent move. I wouldn't necessarily call moving a goal, but it does feel like I'm starting something new, so here's to making new memories this upcoming year in the new apartment. I purposefully drew the arrow going from the word goal to pointing at the beginning of the word's starting point, and I think it's subtle things like that which help to bring together a lettering page. I'm definitely proud of how this quote page turned out, and I hope that I'll be able to do more lettering pages like this in the future. Now, I normally will do a full 2-page spread for my monthly spread, but since I'm going for simple and I've always wanted to do a 1-page monthly spread, this was the perfect time to try it out. I started by drawing the triangle pattern and then writing August above it as the title of the page. I didn't know where else I wanted to put the triangles, so I chose behind the title to be the perfect spot. Then I highlighted the days of the week in pink and then the dates in the calendar in gray before drawing the outlines of the calendar. As you've seen many times in the past, I used a ruler to make all of the straight lines, and I think it worked out really well with this theme. To finish off this calendar, I just wrote the days of the week and all of the dates. I actually really like how cute this calendar turned out, so I can definitely see myself doing another one of these monthly spreads in the future. Plus, I haven't really been writing much in my monthly spreads, and my handwriting is pretty tiny, so the amount of space that this calendar provides is perfect. I'm currently using this month's journal, and I can say that I haven't had any issues with this smaller calendar, so I can definitely see myself doing more one-page monthly spreads in the future. The next spread is the habit tracker, and to vary the design a bit while still sticking to the triangle theme, I decided to take a single-sized triangle template and to just rotate the triangle to make the pattern behind the title. Again, it was very easy, and I just colored in the triangles from lightest to darkest. Since I prefer having the mini calendar for tracking my habits, I did my typical setup and highlighted the top of each of the titles for the trackers in pink or gray, and then drew the outlines for the trackers. I did make a slight mistake when drawing the boxes for the calendar. I don't know why, but I forgot what day August started on. So it actually kind of worked out that I'm filming and posting this bullet journal setup late because I can show you how I'm filling out my mood tracker spread. I started the spread by writing mood tracker at the top of the page, and before filming I had initially drawn 31 triangles in pencil all over this page. I numbered each of the triangles on this page, and then I made a small key at the bottom of the page where the darker the gray of the triangle, the worse the day, versus the darker the pink, the better the day was. Initially that was all I was going to show for this spread, but since we are halfway through August, I thought that I might as well fill out the days in the tracker that have already passed. As you can see, I had quite a few days this month that were pretty hard on my mental health and took a toll on me. I spent a lot of those days just laying on my bed doing absolutely nothing but thinking. Since then, I've worked through a lot of those things that were weighing me down, and I feel so much better now and I'm ready to get back to work. I hope that I'll see more pink in this spread by the end of the month. My one line a day spread took me less than 5 minutes to do, no joke. I decided to keep the spread just as simple as it typically is. As a nod to the triangle theme, I drew a single pink triangle behind the title of the page, but that has to be the most intense part of the spread because after that, I just highlighted every other line alternating between pink and gray and wrote the dates down the left-hand side of the page. For the first weekly spread of this month, I decided to draw a setup based on one that I've seen before online and been in awe of because of the simplicity. I decided to add in my theme by doing the layered triangle pattern at the top of the page behind the titles for the months. I decided to draw a box around the titles for the months and avoided drawing the pattern in those rectangles. I even decided to outline the boxes around the names of the months using the gold pen to make them even more distinct. Below that is the setup that I mentioned I found online. I had sectioned off the page to have 3 columns per page. Then I wrote the letter to stand for each of the days of the week and then wrote the dates at the bottom of each column. I separated each of these sections with a line drawn using my ruler. Then to bring back the gold from the top of the page, I used the gold to draw triangles surrounding each of the letters for the days of the week. I alternated between a normal triangle and an inverted triangle for each of the days of the week. I really loved how clean the spread looks, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. If you wanted to make the spread even more simple, you could always skip the layered triangle pattern at the top. Last month I tried out a 2-week spread for the first time, but since half of the month is already over, I decided that it'd be time to try a 4-week spread. I've seen one of my best friends do this spread in her journal before, and I've been wanting to try it out for myself ever since I saw it. I started by cutting off part of the page to create a Dutch door spread and then made a mini calendar on the top left corner. I split the rest of the space on the Dutch door into 7 parts for each of the days of the week. So each side of the Dutch door will be 1 week. I alternated highlighting the days of the week in pink and gray. Then I wrote out the title for the notes section, but I also ended up outlining the colored area in a black fine liner for a little more definition for each of the sections for the days of the week. After that, I wrote out each of the days of the week along with the dates before filling the empty space with the triangle pattern. I'm not gonna lie, but the triangle pattern reminds me of Argyle socks, and I think that the color palette adds to that perception. I do really like this color palette of pink and gray combined with the gold to accent it, so I will definitely be using it again in the future. I will also be using this 4-week spread again in the future because it is surprisingly enough space for me to write down what I need, and lately I've been wanting to make spreads as quick and efficient as possible for me to use. I think oftentimes people forget that bullet journaling is about doing what you need to do to be the most productive, and it's not always necessary to spend hours making a weekly spread. So that is it for my August 2021 bullet journal setup. This triangle theme is definitely perfect if you are looking for a quick and easy setup for a month that you are a little more busy and don't want to think too much about the theme. It also lets you express your own creativity through the color palette that you choose. Even though this is a really simple theme though, I actually really like it, and one of my favorite quote pages came out of it. If you do decide to recreate this triangle theme, you can tag me in your recreations. Anyway, I've already filmed a couple of other videos that are now in the editing process, and I can't wait to share them with you. Until next time, let me know how you are doing in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!